Hi guys, how's your morning going so far? I was up fairly early with my daughter this morning. She scared the out of me this morning because I heard something and I went into her bedroom first. Like, I ran to her bedroom thinking maybe she fell off the bed, you know. It sounded like a door almost. So I'm freaking out. I run to her room. There's no child in there. The bed's like completely torn apart and I'm like, where's my kid? So I'm freaking out. And I run to the living room. She's laying on the floor, sleeping. Like a little hoodlum. So I run back to my room, making sure not to wake her, because nobody needs that at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I go back to sleep. I say that, I laid in bed. Well, my boobies hurt because I needed to pump, but I was too lazy to get up and pump, so I just laid there hoping that the feeling would go away, doing Hunts and Roxanne, and that I wouldn't have to pump, knowing dang well if I didn't feed my baby soon I was gonna have to pump. But I just laid there in the dark, pretending that my boobies didn't hurt because I didn't want to get up. And so like I said, I was laying in bed, not able to sleep, because that's partially what woke me up in the first place, is like they were already hurting and then I heard that noise. So I'm like, great, now I can't go back to sleep, but I don't want to take the time to have to get everything out, put it on, because I've gotten pampered to the point where I will not pump if I have to hold my bottles. Like, I put the bra on and everything. Like, yes, I have a pumping bra and I wear it. I'm not gonna sit there and hold my bottles up when I have something that will hold them up for me, because I struggled with this, and I'm going into Jack's. I struggled with this when I first started pumping with my daughter. Like, I either had to pick one or the other, because I like to hand express while I'm pumping. So I will sit there and squish my boobs while I'm pumping to get the most possible out of my breasts. And it's hard to do that when you got both bottles going, and it takes twice as long if you do one bottle at a time. So, solution: do hands-free. And I didn't know that they actually made hands-free bras. Like, I didn't know that there was a such thing as a breastfeeding bra. So I literally found a sports bra that I'd had for like 10 years, because I hardly ever wear sports bras. But I found one, and I cut the nipples out of it, and I used that forever. And I was like, look, and my sister was like, you know, you didn't have to cut up a bra, you could have bought one. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Works. Just like, it's definitely a good money-saving option. I mean, you don't wear sports bras anyway, so like, why not cut up one that you have and just use it? I was like, yep. And then with my son, there were a couple people having babies, and someone bought one for someone else they knew, and it ended up being in a size that they didn't fit in. So I got a nice breastfeeding bra, or breast pumping bra, that I do use too. And I'm gonna go into Silk Cream. I seem to use that color a lot because there's a nice divot in it, but I like to make sure everything's nice and blended. And I know I just kind of wiped most of that color away, but that's okay because I'm gonna end up going back over it and it's not gonna get lost. Like, we got this. But yeah, so then I ended up just waking up my son since I was already up with my daughter. She had gotten into all of our DVDs and decided she was gonna throw them all over the floor. So little Miss Mommy over here made her pick every single one of them up, which she was not happy about, but I don't care. Like, I love you, but you're not gonna tear up my house and make this giant mess. Like, it's not gonna happen. Sorry. I love my daughter, but I'm teaching her how to clean up after herself and, you know, be responsible. And so, like, if there's a huge mess in her room that, like, she's just gotten out of hand and, like, she cannot clean it up by herself, I will help her, but for the most part, I make her clean up her own messes. So I sat there and I watched, and she got all but this one big case of movies where you have to get them from, unless you're just an adult that can, like, reach in there and pull them out. They're kind of difficult to get in and out. Well, she quickly realized this because it's the place that they're in on a shelf is right next to her Bubby's bouncer, and that thing kept hitting her in the head, and she was getting so frustrated. And, like, I wanted to help her, but then I also wanted her to understand, like, they're put up there for a reason. They're not meant for her to get out unless she's got mama's help or she's older and understands how to take care of them, because like, we don't have cable. We literally haven't had cable in about 2 years. We got one of those Android boxes that has movies and TV shows and all that goodness on it, and it just recently stopped working. So, you know, until here recently, it's been working great for us. But, you know, every once in a while, like now, instead of watching YouTube, we want to watch a movie. We go to our movies because the Android box isn't working. We plan on buying a new one soon, but it's just an outdated version that we've had for a couple of years. And before that, my grandmother owned. Like, she gave it to us because she doesn't watch a whole lot of TV, and it allowed us to stop paying for cable, which was nice because it almost seems like there's never anything on cable either. And we already had Netflix, so it was like a nice alternative to cable that gave us a lot of options. And for a long time we were watching a lot of movies on it. And, you know, I watched Shameless, Grey's Anatomy, and but I went back and watched all my favorite shows, like even What I Like About You. I went back and found all of them and watched every season of that. And you know, anything you can think of, you can pretty much find on there, which is really nice because, I mean, I like having Netflix and stuff, but sometimes it gets boring. Like, you watch the same 6 shows and you're like, okay, I need to break out of this, like, funk, and I need to find something else to watch, like, now. So, having that was really nice, getting that from my grandma. And we actually like it enough that we're gonna go out and purchase another one. So if you've been looking into Android boxes or Fire Sticks, they're exactly the same thing, except for you have to pay for TV on the Fire Stick unless you jailbreak it, so you don't have to go through the effort of jailbreaking the Android box, because it's not name brand. It's just an Android box. I used to live in town, like all the way through from middle school to high school, like, and even a little after, because I had my own apartment in town. But like never worried. I'm in the yellow shade in the Zulu palette right now, and I'm kind of putting it up close to the red and like kind of brown shade that I've made up there. But yeah, so I've always lived in town, except for like the last couple of years with my husband, and he's kind of made me a little paranoid about living in town. So like I freaked out when I didn't see my daughter in her room. Like, paranoid. I have like I don't know how you'd say it. I get paranoid over things often, but it's more like running out of time or needing to get something done and not having the means to do it, or like not having enough space, or just, I don't know, just regular things. But like since we've moved in town, my husband's like super worried about everything. Like he triple checks the locks on the doors, which now I do too. And like at first I was like, you're goofy, like this is silly, like we don't live in the best neighborhood, this isn't our dream house, but it's what we could afford, and it gives us the space that we needed for our kids. Like, when we started looking, we wanted this and that, all these different things, and then when we realized what our price range was, our ambitions lowered a little bit. We started looking for, the prettiest or the most well-kept house with like the biggest amount of space, because our other house was so tiny. Like, we didn't want that again. We started, just really going for any house in any area that had over like 15 or over square feet, 1,500, and at least 3 bedrooms. Like, those were our only goals. Other than that, we didn't care. And we got a few of them in our price range, and out of all of them, this one seemed to be the most well kept, like the one that would need the least amount of work. The one that we could see ourselves moving into right away without an issue or having to fix very much, which within the first like couple of weeks we had to fix our roof. So and I was in an accident last year before, with my daughter. It was like right after her first birthday, so I think it was the year before. But we were just going to switch insurances because every other insurance was okay with our roof. It was only our insurance that was having a problem, so we were just going to switch insurances. But because of the accident that I was in the previous year, our insurance would have skyrocketed in any other insurance, which sucks because the accident wasn't even really my fault. There was an accident the night before mine, and somebody had taken out the stop sign, and the city had never replaced it. So I was going through the next day after I had dropped my friend off at church. I was going through the next day on my way to the other side of town to meet up with my best friend, and I ran the stop sign because there wasn't one there, and the people coming towards me that actually hit me, you know, they were in the right. They were following the traffic, you know. They didn't have a stop sign, so they just kept going, and they crashed right into me, and it was ruled as my fault, even though I'm just going back into Jack's and a little bit of Hunt's. Even though technically it wasn't my fault. Like, technically I didn't run the, I mean, I technically did run the stop sign, but I didn't because there wasn't one there. My insurance ended up paying everybody out and making sure everything was, you know, settled, because it technically wasn't the other driver's fault either. But I don't think it was fair. I think the city should have paid for everybody. All the repairs on the cars and everything. My insurance, I had full coverage, so they paid for me to get a new car. And also paid off the rest of my old car, which thank goodness, because one, we could not have afforded a new car or even a used car, but also we couldn't have afforded to pay off the old car, especially not having a new car. So it was crazy, but, you know, I'm incredibly thankful. And thank goodness I had bought a brand new car, like right before I had met my husband. But yeah, my husband's made me super paranoid about living in town. So, like, every time I hear a noise, I have to get up and check on the kids. And, like, I mean, on a regular me would have been like, oh, you know, that's just our dog because she's blind and deaf, so sometimes she runs into things and, like, you know, it's no big deal. But now I'm like, oh my god, I gotta go check. I lay awake at night, like, if I hear a noise, I'm just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. If I get up, I wake up the kids because it's most likely, you know, my dog, like I said, because 99.999% of the time it is. But if I don't, something could happen, and it could very well be somebody else, you know, doing something. So I'll just get up several times a night and check on them, and it scares me. And, like, being a mom with a newborn, I wake up very easily anyway. Like, most of the time the slightest noise, unless I'm just super exhausted, wakes me up, because I'm used to waking up for my son, which he's getting bigger now, so he sleeps well, he's always kind of slept through the night, except for when he's teething or going through a growth spurt and, like, eats constantly. But he's getting to where he doesn't really wake up at all. unless those two things, which he's always kind of done anyway, but I still wake up at every little noise because I always have. It started with my daughter. I don't care. Every little noise wakes me up and I'm like ready to go. It doesn't look bad, right? Right? I think this turned out better than the sunset, only because I was able to get that line better. So I'm thinking if I were to do a line like that again, this is what I'm gonna have to do, because that's like literally the only way I can do this. I don't have liners, so yeah, I'm very like anxious now. Like everything freaks me out. I lay awake at night and I'm like, oh my god, someone's gonna break in. My sister doesn't help because she lived in another bad part of town, and like her car was stolen several times. Their house had a brick thrown into it. Like, they've just had all sorts of issues. Now they live more in a worse part of town, but this isn't the best either, like, because we live so close to the road, and we live close to some storage units that have been getting broke into, and like, for the kind of town I live in, it seems like impossible, because like they're cutting through walls to get to other storage units, and like we live in the tiniest little town. Like, it does not seem like something that would happen here. It really doesn't, but it is. So, you know, that shows me how much I know, because I'm like, here? No, that's impossible. But then again, a girl I went to high school with was like literally making counterfeit money, and I'm like, it is, you know, my town. No flippin' way. You would think this is some kind of like, why is this thing always like some kind of weird movie about like drugs and bank heists or something? Like, what? Not this town. Like, what? But yeah, they're counterfeiting money, and I'm just like, it's not real life. Like, that doesn't happen in real life, you know? It only happens in movies where people are sitting in their basement counterfeiting money. Prove me wrong, huh? But yeah, and he's always got his gun ready. And we used to live further out in the country, so, you know, he wasn't as scared, even though it happens there too. Actually, I'm pretty sure we lived right next to some drug dealers, so if anywhere, it would probably more likely happen there. But just he's in the thought that because we live in town, it's more likely to happen, because it never happened him living as far out as we did, which, you know, that's just because we were lucky, because I'm pretty sure we lived next to some shady people out where we did. And it's probably just because we lived in the crappy house that we did, and people just assumed we had no money, which we don't, which is another thing that has gotten me like totally freaking out, because anything of value we have is attached to the wall, like TVs or like my husband's PlayStation, and that's it. So anything that they were gonna steal would take time for them to steal, which like scares me because it wouldn't just be an in and out job. It'd be like trying to take it off the wall. And if, you know, we woke up in the middle of the night, or my daughter heard it in the middle of the night, woke up and walked in there, and like they got scared because they heard her, it literally just keeps me up in the middle of the night worried that something's gonna happen, because I'm like, yeah, anything worth taking, they'd have to take their time on. And like if someone were to walk out and surprise them while they were, you know, because I know when I'm sitting there trying to get something and I'm getting frustrated and I feel like I'm under pressure to get it done, I start to feel nervous, like I said. So if they're feeling nervous, like, oh shit, we gotta get this out of here and go, and my daughter scares them, or I scare them, or my husband scares them, and they have guns or something, you know, and like I said, in my little town, you wouldn't think, but then, like I said, there are people counterfeiting money, so you just never know. And not just like anybody either, like kids I literally went to school with, like literally shared class with. I'm like, okay, what movie did you steal that from? Because like, where? Like, what? Where are you getting machines to counterfeit money? What contacts do you have set up to do this? Anyway, so yeah, it's got me like in a panic now. Like I freak out. And I was laying awake last night actually worried about this. So I figured I'd share, because not only was I up god awful early because of my daughter, but I was also up all night worrying about stupid stuff like that, because I'm a parent, and like that's what we do, is worry about stupid stuff that makes no sense. Just going back in with that maroony color. Yeah. So, you know, just in case you were wondering what like keeps me awake at night, that would be it. Like every single night I'm sitting there like having unnecessary worries about it. We're right there. He's athletic enough that if he needed to get somewhere, he could, and he could harm somebody with his bare hands, but also he knows how to shoot a gun, so if he couldn't get to somebody with his bare hands, he could also very well shoot somebody, because he knows how to do it. And we live in a state that, you know, as long as it's self-defense and they are on your property. It really does worry me though, because there's a gentleman who comes up to my house all the time asking for money, and like, it worries me, like he's gonna try and break in my, which I don't know. He asks for money all the time, but like, one, like I said, we're broke. We don't have money to give to other people. But two, it worries me that, you know, he sees something like a TV, like a 65-inch TV like we have in the living room, and assumes we have money, which we don't. Like, that's something that was bought 3 or 4 years ago, and like took us half a year to pay off or more. So, like, yeah, we have it, but that doesn't mean we have money. And I'm afraid that, like, him seeing that, he's gonna be like, these stingy people just don't want to give me money, and they have money to give, so I'm gonna break in and take it. And it's not the case. Like, honestly, the most valuable thing in here, in my house, would either be the TVs or, like, my husband's PlayStation or my makeup or his video games. Like, literally the most expensive things in this house. And what is someone gonna do with some used makeup and some used video games? Like, the last big purchase that we made was on a piece of makeup. My Smoke Sessions palette was 140 some, not just the palette, we bought the lipsticks too, but it's like 140 some dollars. That's where our money goes, because that's what we enjoy doing, is playing video games and doing our makeup. Other than that, like, my daughter's bed was a good $200 that we just bought, and I actually filmed a video on it, and then I put it on the wrong channel, so, but I got it off of Amazon. It came in this flat box, and then I took it out, cut the plastic off, and it, like, expanded to regular size, and it was pretty cool. So but yeah, it's been freaking me out here lately. Also, if you didn't know, this is supposed to be Thor, so I don't know if it reads that way, but it definitely is Thor. That's who I was going for. And we watched Indiana Jones last night, and I've been planning on doing Thor for a while. So, like, I don't know if any of you are Big Bang Theory fans, but I've had the Indiana Jones Thor song stuck in my head, where he's like, Thor and Dr. Jones, Thor and Dr. Jones. One wears a cape, the other one wears earth tones. I love Big Bang Theory, like, too much. When me and my husband first got together, we also didn't have cable. We bought it, like, we started getting it, like, after we got together. But I'm a TV show addict. Like, I will find a TV show I like. True Blood, Shameless, How I Met Your Mother, Big Bang Theory, and I will, like, literally binge watch it until it's over. And since I was little, well, not little, but since high school, maybe middle school, I don't remember how long it's been out, but I've been watching Big Bang Theory. And it's legit one of my favorite shows. And yeah, that's something that they sing on there. They're like, Thor and Dr. Jones, Thor and Dr. Jones. And I think I'm gonna put some of this gold. I want to try. It might not work, but I want to try and put some of this gold, because he plays with lightning, right? Thor and Dr. Jones, Thor and Dr. Jones. That was a bright yellow, and now it looks orange because of the red. That's gotta be the garbage. I picked the best times to film, don't I? Like, utmost best. Best. I like that. Ooh. One plays with lightning, the other one plays with stones. Y'all can be like, shut the hell up and quit singing Thor and Dr. Jones. But I'm the same way with YouTube. Like, if I find something I like, I'll binge watch that too. Like, I don't even care what anybody else wants. I'm like here lately, my addiction has been Gordon Ramsay. I love cooking shows, and I watched all of the Great British Baking Show a little while back, and now I'm like super into the Gordon Ramsay shows, like all of them, every single one of them. So that's what I've been watching. Thor and Dr. Jones. Next thing, you just want to watch Big Bang Theory now. I'll have to go do that. But yeah, I collect a lot of movie or TV shows. Like, I have a lot of them on DVD, and that's what she had gotten into this morning. So we had to make her put them back. His colors are like a maroon, so I think I'm gonna do a maroon lip, but we'll see. I went after I've been doing the cartoons over the characters. No offense, Hemsworth, but I did it with Magneto too, so. His cape might have been more red. I don't know, I was thinking it was maroon. Maroon, yellow, and blue. I'm pretty sure that's what the cartoon was. That's the best I'm gonna get it right now. I'm getting frustrated. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye!